What's up, Pistons fans? We get another victory. Yeah, the Pistons won again, man. Um, but we kind of got an issue, and that issue is a good issue to have, but it's very interesting. So we got our revenge on the Milwaukee Bucks here at home, but Marcus Sasser made his debut tonight. What does that mean for Dennis Jenkins? Let's talk about it.
Out of bounds, Detroit basketball.
All right, Pistons fans, so let's talk about it, right? You got your usuals from Cade and Duran tonight. Duran at 16-16 down there in the paint beasting. Isaiah Stewart blocking shots, man. I'm glad he seems to be okay after that fall. But, just your usual energy. Green tonight. Javonte Green was brilliant tonight. And like I said, the Pistons are doing the usual Pistons things, right? One of the things that I wanted to talk about was Jaden Ivey and the continuous of stacking these games and looking a little bit better and comfortable each time. Tonight, I believe he was perfect from three. I think it was 3 from 3. And 10 points in 15 minutes with, I believe it was 5 boards, 2 assists, or vice versa. But just, like I said, they're just continuing to string him along, keeping him at a steady pace. And that's what you want to see, right? Tobias Harris didn't play tonight, so Stu started. Now, we have kind of a situation, right, with our roster. We all know it was coming, and tonight was the first time that we got a chance to see where the Detroit Pistons would go when certain guys got back. So Sasser got his debut tonight. Even though it was in limited minutes, he didn't really score. Dennis Jenkins is someone that the fan base has been saying, hey, he needs to play more. He needs to play more. And this is where I got the Dennis Jenkins G League joking from when it came to me and, guys like Downtown Deuce. Because due to the situation, he had an opportunity and he went out there and he shined. So now the Pistons have a situation where it's going to be him or Sasser on the court. Caris LeVert is going to get his minutes. This is you have to look at the regime. This is a JB Bickerstaff guy, and Bickerstaff brung that veteran here for a reason. That's for the latter part of the year. But when it comes to these two, who are also friends, which one of these two are the Pistons going to go with eventually? And it makes you think of, the situation is, are these possible trade target situations where you might want to put a Sasser out there and let him display himself? But I know there's a lot of the fans who love Sasser. So this is all the way around. This is going to be something. Who you put in certain situations, who gets the most minutes. Everybody can't get on the court. We know that. At some point, you got to create some type of relief if you're the Detroit Pistons. And a lot of fans want that to be Dennis Jenkins. I would say right now, more fans want it to be Dennis Jenkins than Marcus Sasser. Why? Dennis Jenkins, a little bit more size, a little bit more athleticism, and shows up in the big moments. With Sasser, it's a little bit inconsistency. So I would totally get on that train. I'm on board with that. If I had to pick the two, I'm probably going to go with Dennis Jenkins. Y'all know that I like bigger guards, and especially in this league. But consistency is my biggest thing. And you got to have that. You have to have that if you're going to be on the court. And Dennis has been consistent. Even though the numbers are not been where they were when he first got the opportunity, he's still been making heady plays out there, setting guys up, timely shots. And that's what you want to see from a backup guard position. With that said, man, we still got a ways to go before we even start talking trade deadline and things like that. But players are already requesting to get away from teams. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously, Tobias Harris has been having a great showing himself. So that kind of takes me out of the trade Tobias camp because, like I said, we need as many veterans as we can on this team. We're talking about a real playoff push here. And before I go with a team full of young guys, I need veterans. And, like I said, our young guys have grown up. And it's good to have the depth, but when we get to the latter part of the season, you're going to see why we need those veterans around. And if you can keep Tobias around, keep him around. But I also love to see Stu start. So, like I said, man, it's just, I don't know, man. It's, JB Bickerstaff, man, I'm praying for you, brother. So to have those conversations with certain guys like, hey, this guy's going to go tonight, you're not really going to go that much. It's got to be some tough conversations because, like I said before, all of these guys deserve to be on the basketball court, man. That's tough. That's tough for JB. Talking about Milwaukee, man. Milwaukee came in here, obviously, it was a revenge game from the Detroit Pistons. We let one slip away when we played in that junkyard in Milwaukee. And they just took control of this game. It was back and forth for a little while, man, and the Pistons started to stretch this thing out. I would prefer it to be this way instead of, we're shooting the last shot to try to get a win. So, literally just talked about that. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the Giannis sweepstakes. I know a lot of Detroit fans will want Giannis to come here. The only way that happens if it's actual players, if it's like Cade and Duran recruiting him and talking him into doing something like that. Otherwise, why would you not go to New York? You know what I'm saying? You're the Greek freak. You go to New York. I mean, not besides the marketing, obviously playoff team, right? I would say I would give it about a 30% chance that something like that could happen, where Giannis would come here and say, I like the way that they got the roster built. Those guys they're deep over there, even though we're not going to keep all of the depth just to get me over there. I think if we get me over there, we'll have enough left in the tank, to keep things afloat and make some real noise in the East to win the Eastern Conference. So, like I said, it's a question of who goes. And I want to pose the question to you guys. This question is for the Detroit Pistons fan base. If you go and get a Giannis, it's going to cost you some players that you love. Which one of those players are you willing to give up? Is it a Sarr? Is it a Ron Holland? Is it Tobias Harris? A Marcus Sasser? Which player is it? Is it Jaden Ivey? Cade and Duran is out the question. Isaiah Stewart is probably most likely out of the question. Who's the guys that you're going to give up to go and get a Giannis? Of course, the Pistons will have to pair that up with some picks. What are you willing to give up? Give me your trade scenario to bring Giannis here to Detroit. Because me personally, I think it's a pipe dream. But if you don't and you like these type of situations, put it down in the comments. I'm interested to see what you got. And if not Giannis, man, if you just want to share and say, hey, we can go and get this person and that person, fine. Leave it in the comments, man. I want to hear it all from you guys. But the trade talks are going to get louder and louder. I want to hear who you got. You know what I'm saying? So, again, the Detroit Pistons, we got a lot of players on this roster, man. Somebody got to go somewhere. Or something has to happen, or it's gonna be a lot of dead butts sitting on the end of the bench. I said seats, beats. Good Lord, help me out. That's why I gotta go. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.